Hey team, here with Lauren, and we were just having a really good chat, so we thought we'd just start recording it. And we were talking about some of the reasons and some of the feelings that we hear from clients all the time, right? And the word that we're going to focus on is this word should, and we'll delve a little bit deeper. So, Loz, when we say should, what are we talking about?
So, I think a lot of people, it's like, how far do you want me to go, Maxi?
Deep.
So people feel that they should be doing all these things. You know, I should be meal prepping, I should be training 4 times a week, I should be shredded with abs. Now we were talking about how all this stuff in social media, or thrown at us throughout our life, is all about, in the fitness industry, is about like, yes, you should be meal prepping, you should be training that much, you should have like shredded abs, you do meal prep in your little crop top. That stuff has been fed to us all the time, so it's pretty normal for us to feel, to get anywhere, that we should be doing these things.
And the problem is, you probably can't do all those things, right? I tried to meal prep in a crop top. But no, like we all fall victim to it, like this feeling of like we're not doing enough because we should be living up to these expectations, right? And the problem is the expectations aren't based on anything. They're made up to begin with, right? And we're trying to live up to these false expectations set by people that don't live in the real world, right? And then every time you try to live up to them, you can't, and you fail, and you go off track and you lose motivation. And then what happens? We end up starting all over again, but unfortunately we fall into that same trap of trying to live up to these false expectations all over again, right? Like how many times have you heard from someone like, oh, I just need to make sure that I spend Sunday meal prepping, right? I need to have this time to meal prep. And then you speak to the person, it's like, oh, what happens on Sundays? Oh, I have kids sport all day. Well, how the hell are you going to meal prep on Sundays?
Yeah.
Right, it's not going to work. And the same can be said for, you know, training at the gym 5 days a week or sticking to a specific diet, right?
Yeah, I feel like what's thrown at us is 20-year-olds who have a lot of time, and that's all that is really shown about the fitness industry or what you need to do with health and fitness and nutrition. It's just, that's all that's been fed to us, but it's not it's not realistic. And we were talking about, like, once you have kids, you suddenly realize that, like, where are all the Instagram posts with like mums and dads that are running around after the, you know, kids all week, and they've got, you know, book week, and they've got this, that, whatever.
That's pretty much my
That's a bit of a plug.
Yeah. Follow me.
But yeah, it's like that's all that's there. That's all that we're seeing constantly fed to us, and that's the messaging of like, you need to do that. Whereas like, no, it's not going to work, because that's a 20-year-old who doesn't pay bills, doesn't have any responsibility, has time. You know what I mean?
100%. And I think like when it comes to health and fitness, without me going on a big nerd alert, any of the science, like the most important thing, like when writing a training program, is the goal of the person, right? The most important thing, like with nutrition, is the goal of the person. And it's also the person being the key word, right? There is no one single workout program that is the best thing for every person on the face of the earth. There is no one single diet that is the best thing for everybody on the face of the earth, right? The most important thing by a mile is finding the thing that you actually stick to. There's that. And then making sure it's something that's actually appropriate for you to do at this point in time, right? So all those influencer tips by the 20-year-old in the crop top, it's like, yeah, they probably don't have kids and a career and a mortgage and a this and a that. So maybe that's not the most appropriate thing for you to be doing.
Yeah. It's that, consistency over time. It's just doing the same thing. And I think you guys say it a lot, is like, you could have the most perfect training program, the perfect diet or whatever. But if you can't actually follow it, you're not actually going to get anywhere. So it's just find the thing that you can actually do within your lifestyle to get you closer to that goal that you can keep doing.
Yes, 100%. And like, you know, I can be a bit of a dick about these things. And like, I'm being facetious. I don't mean to be. It just comes naturally. But people will say, oh, but you know, like every time, like I need to do like low carb diet. I need to go keto diet, right? That's what works for me. I'm like, all right, cool, but why are we having this discussion then? Because you couldn't stick to the low carb diet. So it works for you 4 weeks at a time, and then we have a period of 2 or 3 months when you can't stick to it and you put all the weight back on. So maybe it doesn't actually work, right? Maybe we need to get out of this idea of, again, I should do low carb because that's what the influencer said, and get back to this idea of, okay, what's the best thing for me to do right now?